From 4 News Now, with live updates throughout the day, breaking news as it happens, and weather every 10 minutes. This is KXLY Plus.
Good afternoon. For 4 News Now, I'm Rob King. My guests today are two local women nutrition specialists that have put out a cookbook to help you if you're looking to get some New Year's goals finished, looking to get a little healthier, maybe drop a couple pounds. This is going to be the move for you. So join me in saying hello to Monica Jacobson and Bria Seberg, the authors of the Balanced Plate Cookbook. Hello, how are you guys?
We're great. Thanks, Rob.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it. Why don't I just start off with how you guys kind of got together and began this adventure?
Yeah. Well, Bria and I were introduced as friends. We got together for coffee a few years ago, and we both were kind of sharing our professional aspirations, and we both came up with this idea of, well, we'd love to write a cookbook. And then finally, as time progressed, we ended up working under the same roof here at the Prevention Center for Heart and Brain Health in Spokane. And so once we were physically in the same office every day, we decided, okay, this is it. We're going to really start planning this book and doing it together. It took a lot of the pressure off trying to do it independently. So here we are.
And I think something that's cool is that you both have kind of science-based backgrounds. It's not that you guys were writing fantasy books and then decided to do a cookbook. You both are qualified to speak on what you're talking about. So how is that kind of play into coming up with the cookbook? How does that influence what your recipes are?
Good question. So we both come to this from the perspective of healthcare providers. So Monica is a registered dietitian nutritionist. I'm a doctor of nursing practice, nurse practitioner. And so I think we've both had this experience over the years of having patients coming to us or clients coming to us and saying, how do I eat? What do I eat? Can you recommend a book for me? And it's been challenging to have something that you just believe wholeheartedly is going to be a good resource for your patients. So individually, we both wanted to have something that we could offer to our patients, but also to the community and to our friends and to our family, something that we've really had a lot of trust in. So that's sort of where this came from for us.
When I think about healthy eating, I think about some of the frustrations that come from what seems like changing guidance every couple of years. It's like eggs, wine, and coffee. It's constantly, good for you this year, it's bad for you the next year. How do you find some of those consistent through lines?
Yeah, that's a good point. The headlines are changing all the time around foods, like you just listed, Rob. And so we wanted to write this cookbook all based on this method of using the balanced plate as a template for building healthy meals. And really all foods fit into this plate. Most foods fit into this plate, I should say. But we really want to bring in the science around what different foods are composed of, and the importance of pairing all of your healthy protein, healthy fats, fiber-rich carbohydrates, all the vegetables into one meal and the whole day. And so that's really, we don't exclude really anything. With the exception of a few things. For example, all of our recipes are naturally gluten-free, and we do that just to appeal to the masses. And so those who, whether they're eating gluten or not, can still enjoy these recipes. So we focus a lot on balance versus restriction, because we just feel that truly that is going to help make these recipes and this way of eating sustainable, something that's really something people can stick with, versus the latest fad, or I'm skipping the eggs because of this, or the XYZ trend of the month or the year, for example.
Do you find that's the biggest challenge that people who are trying to make a change to what they're eating, is that it's hard to stick with the fad diet?
Absolutely. I mean, especially this time of year, everywhere you look, it's the 30-day reset, the New Year's resolution, the detox diet. And what we're really trying to get away from is that restriction. We're looking for sustainability over restriction. Goals for your whole life versus the goals for now, right? So I do think that that's a huge barrier that people, especially very highly motivated people, come to us and they say, I'm not going to eat sugar ever again. I'm never eating gluten. I'm never eating, any animal protein again. And it's really an effort for us to bring people back to this place of balance where they're not afraid of the different macronutrient groups, but really understand how those can work together to create balance, to create sustainability in your diet and in your life.
Well, that definitely sounds like the way to do it. Do either of you have, or both of you, I'd like to hear from, your favorite recipes? Each of your favorite recipes from the book.
Yeah. Oh, we get that asked that a lot, and it's hard to narrow it down. But I'm a big fan of eating breakfast. Personally, I think that works for me and my own body. But I do encourage most people to get some healthy, balanced nutrition in their body at the start of the day, especially something that's high protein. So. If I had to pick my current favorite breakfast right now, I'd probably say our cottage cheese pancakes. They are made with cottage cheese, a little bit of oats and almond flour. So there's protein, fat, carbohydrates, all in one pancake. They're so simple. We make those on repeat in my household. And so I'd say that's probably one of my favorites at the moment. But, Bria and I both came together contributing some of our own family favorites. And it's been really fun to test out her recipes. And I think she's done the same thing with mine. And so that favorite list is definitely very dynamic.
And what do you both find are some of the biggest misconceptions people have when it comes to trying to either find balance or trying to just incorporate like a healthier lifestyle?
That's a good question too. Yeah. So, I think some of the misconceptions are that like certain foods are labeled as good or bad. And, Bria and I are very careful not to use that kind of language when we're talking to people. I think we, for the most part, eat mostly everything, and certain things more or less. But I think we really like to think about all foods being able to fit into this balanced plate method. And, I think carbohydrates, for example, is a food or a food group, maybe a macronutrient that definitely has some misconceptions. We like to focus on those fiber-rich carbohydrates. So not anything very drastically low carb or no carb. We need carbohydrates, but we need the right ones in the right amounts and paired with the right other nutrients to make the most of those carbs. So I probably say it comes down to that. I could probably go on and on about other misconceptions, but that's a big one. Especially
What examples of some of those more fiber-rich carbohydrates would you recommend?
Yeah, good point. So I'd say things like fruit, berries, starchy vegetables like sweet potatoes, corn, and then whole grains like quinoa, rice, farro.
We use a lot of oats.
A lot of oats. Yeah, that's a good point. Lots of oats in our recipes. So it's really about like as you can see, those are all whole foods. They're not this processed food. There's a lot of talk right now about processed food or ultra processed foods, and we don't use any of that in our book. It's really very whole foods based, but simple, approachable recipes that really anybody can make. We did that very intentionally so that our book was not intimidating, and that these recipes were something people could jump right into really at any cooking skill level.
And I think that kind of transition. Oh, sorry, Bria. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Your question about those misconceptions too. I think another big one is dietary fats, and especially depending on who you're talking to, which generation you're talking to. Even there was a real push for a long time against dietary fats, and everybody wanted non-fat everything. And so trying to bring people back to understanding that fats are also important. Fats are important for satiety. They're important for flavor. They're important for our brain health. That's another challenge I think that we face a lot in the nutrition world and healthcare, but also just in general, and getting people to understand that there's not one thing that's evil here, right? With the exception of maybe some trans fats, but understanding that fats are important for us too.
I think that is important. I think that's interesting how it changes generationally. That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about how the guidance seems to change every couple of years. But well, no, that's good to be able to really tackle some of those individual things that people can know about. Now, I think an important aspect of your guys' personal relationship to writing this book is that you're both mothers, and these recipes are built to fit a lot more easily into a mother's lifestyle. Can you talk about why that was kind of important for you guys?
I think it's important to us because it's our reality. It's our real life. I mean, making this cookbook, writing these recipes, and even, you know, the creation of the book and the pictures that we took, it all included our family. Our kids are our harshest critics. You know, we don't have a recipe in this book that our kids didn't try and give us feedback on. They may not all be their favorites, but we really created this with moms and families and dads in mind, right? Knowing that nobody has extra time to run to all these specialty food stores. We want things that we can make with pantry staples. We want whole real food, and everybody wants to feed their family as well. So just really thinking about how we can make that approachable and simple. That was our goal with this book.
Awesome. Well, Monica, Bria, I want to thank you guys so much for sitting down, chatting with me. Where can folks find The Balanced Plate?
Yes, well, it is on Amazon, and that's the quickest way to get it today. But we are excited to bring it to more local businesses here in Spokane and beyond. Very soon, we hope to have this book at downtown at kxly, right there on Main Street, as well as copies here at the Prevention Center down on Fifth Avenue. So those are just two businesses that will for sure be carrying it, but we're open to anybody else who wants to carry it. And we love supporting local businesses, but certainly it is on Amazon and many more places to come.
Awesome. Monica, Bria, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
And like they said, you can get the book now on Amazon, but be on the lookout for it to come to some local bookshops near us. Thank you for watching. If you missed some of it, you can watch the full thing on KXLY Plus and KXLY.com. But for now, live in studio, I'm Rob King for 4 News Now.